Okay, I do have a short upload that I have on this morning. Very short, and you may want to listen to it. It's just a little bit of advice, is really all it is. But it's short, and you just listen to what this doctor had to say. And might take note of this to those of you that are obese. So, how about from me? Sometimes when you experience something, you tend to learn from your experience. I don't care what it is, okay? About people, about your health, about this, that, so forth. Now I get a thumbs up and okay on that to start it off. I hate repeating myself, to be honest with you, although sometimes I do that quite a bit. But okay, here we go. Now we're getting some numbers in here. Short. If you are obese, and it's a must, it's so short. It's just like a 20-second, 30-second video or something. Do we still have the cream cheese in there?
Huh?
Cream cheese?
Cream cheese?
Yeah. Can't find. By the way, that drawer on the bottom, the vegetable drawer, seems to be broken on one
Yeah,
side.
a long time ago.
Okay, just so you know that. Pardon me. Family business still goes on here. I might have a piece of maybe wheat toast with the cream cheese on it. Maybe I'll make that. Yeah. They said it can increase your calcium intake and whatever, but not from a supplement or anyway. You learn from basically your experiences. Hey, Mark, what's going on, man? I'm doing, man. I'm doing. I was up at 2:30 in the morning taking care of business, if you know what I'm saying. Don't have to get graphic with you, but it's all part of the whole wonderful experience. Not there yet, it's not there yet. But as many people do, when they have any kind of an ailment at all, most people, I know I do, you'll research because I think it's important to research. And I've listened to so much stuff, my gosh, on what happened to me and what causes these oxalates that build up in your system. It's a really complicated thing. It has to do with your whole microbiome actually in your kidney. And when you have stones, it builds up. And it's a very complicated thing. But that's why you have to have like lemon juice and take some apple cider vinegar now and then to prevent these oxalates from forming. But I'm not going to get technical on there. You learn from all your experiences in life, okay? And a lot of people, well, certainly a lot of foreigners and even YouTubers on here that are having a weight problem. Well, not only, of course, does it cause high blood pressure, all kinds of crap, okay? You know that. We all know that. Excuse me. And you can watch that very short video on there, okay? He starts talking about calcium and then it's like 30 seconds. I don't know how long it is, 40 seconds, I don't know. But it mentions in the end about the weight. So if you are a person who has quite a bit of weight, I don't see me because I'm not on camera. If you are a person that's carrying around a lot of weight, obviously, not good for the heart, blah, blah, blah. You know all that stuff, right? But you are probably have a buildup of a lot of stones. It could be in your gallbladder, but most likely your kidney. 25% of adults actually get kidney stones. I know you're probably sick and tired of hearing about kidney stones, but this is something that's you know currently happening with me or happened to me, and well, I'm not over it yet. I mean, who knows if there's complications in future? You might form more kidney stones, but now I became more knowledgeable about certain foods that contain a lot of these things called oxalates that you don't want. Okay, they are saying to take calcium, 3 pieces of calcium of some sort. It's a different type of protein other than meat. Meat can cause oxalates, but I don't want to get really too technical because that's when you get bored. Let's get to the nitty gritty of this. If you are overweight, uh, it's almost a guarantee, and you've been overweight for a long time, and you're just slopping food down your mouth, and you don't care what the hell you eat. Okay, if you're an average YouTuber out there, you're probably, overweight, and overused and abused your body, whether you did drugs in the past or still do drugs or whatever you're doing in your life that's not really healthy, everything catches up to you sooner or later. And if you, hey, I just got off the phone early this morning with my uncle who's over 100 years old, sharp as a tack. But, of course, he has other things going on with his eye and he had prostate problem, all this other shit. But the guy's like sharp as a pin. He can still walk. And even when he's in his 90s, he was out there chopping wood, if you can believe this shit. Okay. It's in the genes, and I certainly hope it is. But if you are overweight, and I want to emphasize this, and it's not like I'm jumping on somebody because they're overweight. I'm actually putting together a helpful video, and you can discard it, whatever you want to do. You don't have to take my advice, and I'm not a doctor, but I could read. A lot of us could read. We're not all illiterate. I can read, and I could learn, okay? And you're the one that carries your body around, is what I'm saying. You carry your body. I don't carry your body around. You don't carry mine around, okay? But if you're going to adhere to really toxic diets, and you're going to eat a lot of animal protein, you're eating a lot of pork, you're eating a lot of beef, and maybe too much chicken, okay? There are certain proteins that you don't want, and you want to get your proteins mostly from, you know, beans and different things you can get protein from, milk even. A lot of people just slop food down their mouth. They don't care what the hell they're eating until something happens to them. If it ain't a heart attack or a liver misfunction or pancreas or something. And there we go, the stones. It's the stones, but we're not talking Mick Jagger. But we might be talking jagged stones. But listen up. And this is not a put down to anybody out there that's overweight and obese. And we know a lot of our YouTubers are. You are gambling with your health. You are gambling with your body in that respect of your diet anyway. Okay. And we're not talking, well, the drinking don't help. Of course, smoking don't help, but we're talking about the diet. And a lot of these people that you know to be big and obese are going to probably have a huge kidney stone problem. And I've heard, you know, internet information. I've researched this. I mean, imagine that I would. And I did. So a lot of information. You eat a lot of spinach. It takes a lot of oxalates in there. There's oxalates in too much protein. If you want to have a little meat, you have a little bit of meat, but you can't overdo anything, man. You just can't, and you don't realize that. As you're aging, and a lot of my viewers, and I'm sure are probably retired, or some portion of my audience is retired or going to be retired. And, whether or not they kept a healthy diet all their life, I mean, I don't know. I know some people on here, and I see what they eat, and I see what they look like. And I'm saying, hey, well, that's like a stick of dynamite ready to go off at any fucking time. And believe me, trust me, if you never trusted me before, you do not, and I'll repeat it twice, you do not want kidney stones. You do not want kidney stones. Again, and I'm going to say it again, you do not want kidney stones. Look, I'm doing this as a public service. Generally, I shouldn't give a shit about what people think or whether it's about me or anything else, but I'm sharing with people that I don't have to share with. And you could take this information, you could throw it out the window, you could do whatever you want. But I always say, don't have to believe me, do your own research. So if you are an aging individual, and you don't have to be, you can get kidney stones from your 20s. I mean, it's not, or even younger. But as you're older, this shit, but it gets complicated. You got this whole microbiome that's in your kidney has this bacteria, and it's this really microscopic stuff, and they live on this bacteria. And you take antibiotics, it doesn't help. But if you need to take antibiotics, then you have to, rather than having renal failure. But by doing things like apple cider vinegar or making a couple of lemons straight in a drink, straight lemon juice, and then later on diluting it down to one lemon and drinking tons of water. They want, it's a lot of water. They're saying you drink 2.5, what is it, about 2.5 per day liters. Yeah, it's hard. But if you flush your system out, you're going to help prevent stones from coming. So Okay. Um, there's a lot of things that happen with the stones, man. It's how much animal protein you eat could cause that. Okay, things like even spinach. There's some good things. They generally say to stick to a vegetarian diet, and you could have meat. Eat normally, but don't eat as much of anything. What you want to do is you want to flush your body out with as much water as you can, so you're inhibiting the formation of these kidney stones, which most of them, 80%, are kind of a calcium base. But the bacteria in the microbiome live up. They actually have a protective calcium shell. It's just very complicated. I don't want to get into that because it's even for me to comprehend this. I'm just beginning to. But if you are overweight, and you've been overweight for a long time, I would make a suggestion. Do you have the money? Do you have insurance coverage for elective things? Go and have initially, I would go with what do you call a scan? Not a CT. That's later. I would go with a little sonography, ultrasound, to see if they could detect. There's people who have stones as big as 25 or more millimeters. I mean, that could be excruciating if it got in the wrong place, like mine did. Mine was about 8 millimeters or something. Okay, it doesn't mean it's all passed through. He broke it up and stuff, but we'll see. There is another one that's up there, but it's not any place to be concerned. Could that be a concern in the future? No, not if you tear it apart. And things like lemon, which contains certain citrates in there. You want citrates. That's why after the operation, they make you take potassium citrate, which I'm taking right now. Okay? No, I'm not overweight. In fact, I lost weight. I lost 5 pounds since my recent surgery because I wasn't passing some stuff, if you know what I'm talking about, without getting graphic. I had a lot of weight at one point, but then I had to take, well, laxatives and stuff like that. And of course, you're losing water when you do that too. So now you're going to have to drink more water. But then you're afraid to drink some water because after an operation like this, you got a stent that's put in there. Okay, that's to keep your ureter kind of wide and allow for flow of urine. But the problem is, and the biggest discomfort people have, and that's why I'm telling you about this. I don't give a shit whether somebody likes me or not. Okay, I'm going to give you some advice, and that's it. You could take it or leave it, throw it out the window, like I said. Okay, but it'll hurt. Your kidney will actually hurt when you urinate. And I've had a little control of that. It doesn't get out of whack. Okay, but you've got to keep the urine flowing. So my best advice, and not coming from a doctor, but somebody who's well read on what's going on, and usually people will do if they get something wrong with them, that's the only time they're gonna look up information because they usually don't have any need otherwise or just don't give a shit, to be honest with you. If you are overweight, you better get your tail out to have a ultrasound done of your kidneys and possibly your gallbladder. And I'm being really serious about this. If you never had a kidney stone before, then you would never understand. And I wouldn't, as I said, and I'm that strict on this statement, whether I like you or not, or something, I don't think I'd want anybody to feel the pain of a kidney stone in your back flank of your back. No. I may not wish well on some people, but, I'll be fair about this and say, I don't wish that kind of pain on anybody, really. So, no, I'm not overweight as far as that goes. No, I'm not overweight. In fact, I said I lost pounds. I normally am, I don't know, I hover around 170, anywhere from 171 to 173. I got as low as 166 the last time I weighed myself. But it's hard to tell because if you still have a lot of stuff in your bowel, that's going to add for the weight. So it's not accurate, but I know I lost weight as a result of this from not really feeling up to par and so forth. And sometimes it gets concerning that you're losing weight, but it kind of goes to the territory, And if I started losing drastic poundage, I'd have to worry. Okay. Well, okay. In that's lithioscopy or something it's called. Yeah. Excuse me. Um, he didn't use he didn't use a laser. I don't know. From what I tell, he had a tool. It's like a jackhammer thing. I know you're saying, "Oh my God, Frank," but it would hammer away. They go up your. You want the facts, so they knock you out. They even give me a what was that, epidermal? I didn't want that. I shouldn't have had that. That was scary. They go in there up through your you know what into your ureter, and they're scoping around at first to see what's going on. Hey, what's happening? What's up? What's up? Okay, kind of a situation. Okay, then they find the stone and they see it and they'll kind of hammer it out. There's one way they do it, and I don't know what they call this. This was just called a uh, uh, what do you go? Arterioscopy. What is that? Ureteroscopy. And there's different ways of doing it. You could use laser, which can be bad or good, but if they hit you somewhere else, you've got a problem. What he did, I think, was it was like a little tool that would hammer this thing into pieces, okay, and then theoretically would piss it out over time or something, and hopefully you don't have a big stone. I'm laughing, but it's not the kind of laugh that a jolly laugh. Yeah. And sometimes people have repeated episodes of kidney stones. That's where you got to come in, where you have to do something to prevent these oxalates, and by diluting everything in your bladder and your kidneys, by not allowing these kidney stones to form and give them the tools to form. Okay, that's why you'll drink lemon water. You have occasional apple cider vinegar in some water, things like that. And there's certain foods that might be good for that too. Apples are good. There's different foods. But I'm going to tell you, you don't want this. And I apologize. It's the only shows. Is why I'm even on YouTube. Is since I've had this little episode, shall I call it, uh, and did so much what I'm experiencing actually and reading up on this, that I'm just sharing information with my viewers. As I said, you could do with it what you want. But and I have a short that's out. It's just a real short video, and you could go look at that. So I'll probably take it off. It's not really, well, important, but it just mentions on the end of this 30-second video about your weight and that you're more prone to being, you know, just chalked up with stones if you are overweight. My suggestion, just as a layperson, but somebody who has experienced stones, and I'm not overweight, never had an overweight problem in my life. The other thing I'm going to talk about is insurance, okay? So I'm going to do a full show here. I wouldn't call it fully recovered, okay? I got a stent in there, and that's going to have to come out in a couple of months. And I'm going to have them put me out for that shit. I don't care what it's an easy thing. Well, you're going to take this and you take it. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no. And then generally after that, you should feel better. When you have a kidney stone operation, when you urinate, you're going to feel it in your kidney. So when I first had the operation, I was frightened to death to urinate. Because I knew when I tried, they had me on a catheter at first, so it came out on its own flow. But then when the catheter is removed, you're drinking water, you got to urinate. No matter you like it or not, you have to urinate. So upon doing so, it was horrible. It's like, hold my hand, Gilda, or something. Well, I didn't have her do that, but it was at that point, you don't want to, you have to go. And you got to release those fluids in your bladder. But then when you do it, but after time, it's gotten a little better. Yeah, I'm going to get back pressure because of the ureter, because of the stent. I'm going to get back pressure from the urine back into the kidney. Okay, but it's not advisable to leave it in because you could actually form all these oxalates and stones and stuff. They could form all around that stent. You don't want to leave it in forever. You could probably leave it in a pretty long time, but that gets all calcified too. As everything gets in your body, everything you have in your body, Ralph, if you're a senior, everything, you're getting calcium in your bones, your teeth, everything is calcified. Every freaking organ has got calcium buildups in it, and that's what causes a lot of problems in artery clogging and every goddamn thing you could you could think of. Okay, welcome to getting older, and that's just what it is. But you could prevent that. How old am I? I turned 70 at the end of May of this year. Okay, so no, I'm not going to leave the stamp down. No, there should be a lot more people listening to this show actually, because this is absolutely a public service. I don't owe anybody anything. Okay, certainly not on YouTube. But if you are overweight, you've been overweight for a long time, and we're not going to mention no names of anybody on here. You know who you are. Well, yeah, a very young 70. I'd like to think so, but the way I felt lately. No, I'm doing pretty well, but I'm always with caution. There's no complications, that there's nothing like that. I'm always a little bit cautioned. Now I want to get into something real quick if I can. You're going to be living out here in the Philippines. I'm looking into Pacific Cross. I had an hour on the phone with the an underwriter lady uh, who will turn that information into Pacific Cross, and they ask you every question in the world. If you ever had an operation, ever had an illness, anything that's ever happened to you, and I don't care what it is, and you got to disclose everything. Because if something happens to you again and you didn't disclose it, well, you could have a problem with the insurance. So basically, a little late, but it did cost me quite a bit of money for the my own pocket. Because you don't Medicare, they don't take that out here. They don't take that. So I said, man, I'm getting older. Who the hell knows what else can go on? To anybody. You don't even have to be my age. If you're living out here, say you're visiting out here in the Philippines, okay? You like to make visits out here? Okay, what if something happened to you? Unless you're a veteran, you get veterans, but what happened on your visit? And say you're just not really chock full of money. Can you afford to spend like I don't know, quarter of a million pesos to go to the hospital and get everything taken care of? Are you in a position to do that or not? You better have some international insurance, even if it's just for your trip. You can get that. You can actually get that. Okay. You could get a short term insurance policy. I want long term because I don't know what my future brings. Okay. Yes, it's called Pacific Cross. And I talked to a guy named Michael Onstad, and you could ask Steve from Philippines Information Channel, who knows Michael very well. Michael is a guy that'll give you the information you need, and he'll put you in touch with this one chick who is kind of like an underwriter or something. She's the one that, well, she takes the input, and she's going to ask you, you're going to be on the phone for an hour with her, and she takes all the information about you, your age, and blah, 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 any pre-existing conditions, all this other crap. They're going to want to show a copy of your passport, your ID, stuff like that. She's going to ask you for a signature. Just write it on a piece of white paper, send it in an email. She'll copy it, blah, blah, blah. It's not a hard process, but then she'll send it off to the people. Could take a week, could take 2 weeks, could take less. And they'll figure out you want to get on a plan. I'm getting on a plan that gives me 1.5 million pesos. What is it, annual coverage? Inpatient, not outpatient, semi-private room, not private, okay, which could save you money. I don't mind a semi-private. I had a private room when I went to the hospital, in a private hospital, but I think you prefer, to have a private room if at all possible. But what would that cost you per year? Well, I could give you a starting point. If it's just an outpatient, in other words, that, they'll take care of your medicines when you're in the hospital. You're responsible for your own medicines outside of a hospital stay. You're responsible for your doctor's visits, which is nothing. It doesn't cost much for doctor's visits. So your concentration is going to be just on the hospital facility, an accredited hospital, and there's so many of them they got out here. Okay, so whatever happens in the hospital, medication, anesthesia, nurses, surgery, whatever it might be, it's done in the hospital. You're going to be covered up to 1.5, and generally you're not going to need that. I mean, 1.5 million, but it's good to have that coverage. So you'll want to just get a hold of Pacific Cross and try to get something going with them. Phil Health. Oh God. Phil Health, first of all, is not an insurance company. Phil Health is a discount organization. Okay, it's not insurance. It's really not. My girlfriend, she only gets like what 10% off anything that she would have to do if she went to a hospital. So that's it. It's just a reduced rate. You get a break of maybe 10% or something. It sucks. It's better than nothing, I guess. But no, Phil Health did, and it takes a year anyway. It takes a year of you paying for a year for it to go into effect. So that kind of sucks too, you know. Yeah. So Phil Health is not an insurance agency. But you know what? I did talk to Michael Onstead about over a year ago or more, and I was going to look into this shit. And then I get this, and I'm saying, Jesus Christ, I could have saved $250,000 fucking pesos because that would have been covered. But then there's another thing with pre-existing conditions on what they're going to allow next time. Am I going to have complications from this? Am I going to have a recurrence of kidney stones? Could happen. So the underwriter, whatever, they have to figure this out, okay? And whatever they come up with on that, and how that's going to be treated again. So chances are, if you had kidney stones, I had one when I was very young. Well, actually, it was back in Seattle, actually. Well, I was younger, yeah. I remember how painful it was. It passed anyway. It was one stone. It did pass. They gave you potassium citrate, whatever it is. It helped, you know. But, I never had a problem since until, like, what is it, a week ago now or 6 days ago when I was home here and I said, oh my God, Gilda, something going on. And it was. I had such pain, such fucking pain. And what did I do? I managed to take ibuprofen and stuff, and it helped it for a little while. I went to the local hospital. Oh my God, the local hospital, Battaglia. It's more like an infirmary. And, you might have kidney stones or whatever, go take a urinalysis test. Then anyway, whatever. I figured I need to see a urologist. I need to go downtown anyway. I'm going to see a urologist. And I did, and I brought whatever paperwork I had from an ultrasound I had here in Battaglia and whatever else, and blood tests and urine tests. And he went from there, and he said, pretty much, I think you got kidney stones. And, okay, what I'd like you to do is take a CT scan. And it cost about, the hospital I went to, it was a little discount. I don't think there was. 8,500 for the 8,500 pesos for the CT scan. Okay? I would think it's going to come a little over 100,000 pesos per year. If you break that down, it's really not that much per month. It's according to the information you fed them. The good thing is I don't have a history of hypertension, in other words, high blood pressure. I don't have a history of kidney disease. I don't have diabetes. I'm not overweight. I don't have heart problems. Even though I smoke, they said, well, they're going to want to probably not. I saved time. I said, here, I just got a recent report of my lungs, clear field, and all that stuff it says on there. So I said, here, this is an extra thing I'm sending you because you said that they might want to ask that, the underwriters or whatever, they might want to ask that later on. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll save it a time. This is fresh off the press. And here's a statement from this hospital saying that the lung, were clear and all that stuff. Okay, so I saved time on that. Okay, so I'm thinking if you get this plan, it's about for 1.5. So go down the list, write it down if you have to. 1.5 is usually a good coverage. 1.5 million peso coverage for the year. Get us and ask for a semi-private room in this policy. Okay, and just get hospitalization, everything that comes with it, all the medicines and everything that they're going to give you in a hospital, nurses service, everything you have to get done. It's all charged. Believe me, I paid dearly for this. And surgery and whatnot, okay? So you're going to get that covered. Outside services, it won't cover outpatient. Now, medicines could be expensive, okay, outside of the hospital. We all know that. But they're not that terrible. All right, they're not that terrible. And seeing a doctor out here doesn't cost you. You're going to see a specialist, what, $20? Get the plan. That's the peso plan, not the dollar plan. Okay, you're going to pay more for what they call a dollar plan, and I don't want to get into that. Just trust me, you get a plan called the peso plan. So here we go. Peso plan, checklist number 1. Checklist number 2. Oh, go for about 1.5 million. Unless you have a lot of bad health problems, then you go for 2.5 if you want to pay a lot more. Okay, you're going for inpatient only. If that's what you want to do, if you got the extra money, you want everything to be covered, this is the plan that you're going to go under. And I hope this helps you. Okay. Yeah. I hope this helps you if you're really interested. I'm just giving you the clear facts. This is not Steve's show where he's going to just ramble on and on about it. I'm going to just condense, because it was even hard to get information out of Steve from Philippines Information Channel, how much you're paying, and stuff like that. Maybe he doesn't want anybody to know. And I think that's why he's living in a really inexpensive place, because he's paying high on his policy. He's getting a higher policy, I guess. But that's personal information that's for Steve to handle, not for me or you. Everybody needs coverage, is what we're really trying to say. And even if you're visiting here, something happens to you out here, you're fucked, my friend. You're absolutely fucked. So I hope this information has actually helped you. And as I said, if you are obese, that is really a concern. And you people know who you are. And just because you never had kidney stones before does not mean you're not going to get an attack of a kidney stone. I'm going to be as upfront as I possibly can with you. Chances are most of you out there have kidney stones already, and they haven't caused any problem. Mine, basically, I think what happened had dropped into the reader, the ureter from the kidney, and having the stone there, I think, caused a kidney infection. And that's why I'm on antibiotics. And by the way, antibiotics are really not good for your kidneys. I'm talking about the microbiome, that they could build resistance to bacteria. It's not a good thing, but if you need it, you need it, okay? So there you go. For 1 year, it's worth putting the money out. And that's why I'm telling people, even for the money to get a policy, have a little bit of a cushion in the bank to cover an uninsured emergency where you have to go to the hospital, or to cover, what else am I going to say? Cover your ass on a few things. Like, if you're visiting out here and you just don't, you have your Medicare, but that doesn't work out here. I really wish they changed that around. But no, you don't want to spend the money. Of course you don't. But you're stupid if you don't, because it will clean you out eventually. If you have to go hospital visit after hospital visit, okay? Now, if it's for a pre-existing condition, there's a little question in that. That still has to be determined on certain. I said, look, what if I get another kidney stone? You're going to say, well, you had a kidney stone prior. Well, you had a kidney stone prior to your insurance. If you look at it that way, maybe it makes a difference. I didn't have a kidney stone during the insurance, okay? I paid out of pocket. So what happens while I'm on the insurance, and I'm trying to get that clear, and she'll get that clear to me. What if I have another episode, another kidney stone? I got to go through this again and go through all that expense. Okay, obviously you're not going to want that. Okay? Okay. God, this deserves 10 thumbs up on here. Never mind 4. Anyway, yeah, I have been putting on shows, and I've been saying it lately, because I have been hibernating. And for good reasons. I don't want to be away from the house. We won't get into that. But I'm just basically resting and trying to control my diet, trying to get as much. In fact, I got to take a potassium citrate right now as I speak. And that helps with the urine, well, the stones. And I don't want to get into everything that the medicine does. But that's what they're going to tell you to take. All right? That's what they're going to tell you to take as one of the medicines. All right? Yeah. And then the other one is tamoxifen. Tamoxifen is works with getting your kidney flow going, because as you get older, you get a larger prostate. My prostate is not normal size, but it's not behemoth either. But they'll give you this tamoxifen, Tamouslim, tamoxifen. Which will also help you with your urine flow once you have this. Now, you got the stent thing going on, okay? You got the stent going on, the stent rather, not the stint. And that can be discomforting. There's no question about that. It got to a point in the beginning that I was just absolutely in absolute fear of urinating, because it did burn, it did hurt, and all that back pressure that went to my kidney. You get this back pressure. You're thinking, oh shit, man, this is like really fucked, man. And you just stand there or whatever and just let it flow. And you get your damn urine out. Let the puppy flow. Okay, or so I say let she flow, like Nico talks about his grass and calls everything for your entertainment. I would enjoy doing that. No, I don't want to go there. I really don't. I don't want to go there. I'm so tempted. And speaking about entertainment, that's entertainment to me, okay? And when I see the foolish people, all right, they want to retire in the Philippines, right? You want to try making this your place that you want to live, right? You want to live here. But it's got to be 8.5 years. I'm not good. I don't really count how many years. Is that they just don't see the talk would be, hey, I want to enjoy my life. I'm retired. I'm going to eat what I want. I'm going to drink what I want, smoke what I want, whatever. They're going to do all that shit, right? But then when their body starts falling apart, they're going to be in total deep regret. They don't. They go out drinking all the time. They're stuffing food in their mouth as if, it's the last food on earth. They're eating all the unhealthiest freaking foods, and then they wonder, why am I in bad shape? Why am I getting this organ problem? Why am I getting heart murmurs? Why is my liver falling apart? Do you realize that glass of liquor, what it does to your liver? Only one glass of liquor, of hard liquor? Do you even have a remote idea what that puts your liver into shock? I'm not going to go into all the details here. I'm just telling you that you could do. I'm saying that you got that choice. You can do whatever the hell you want. I really don't owe anybody anything on my show. I don't owe anybody absolutely anything whatsoever. But I do take the time and call it a public service, or whatever you want to call it, based on my own experience, and I talk about different things. You remember I used to do shows about supplementation, blah, blah, blah. Well, it turns out that some of those supplements I'm not going to be taking anymore because you could actually over-supplement. But most of the stuff I take is okay. But I'm going to be not doing some of them as much. But yes, that could add to it the fact that I had this, what do you call IV for glutathione? 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C in there. Oh, that'll form oxalates. Okay, that did not help my situation at all. Okay, well, we stopped that, of course. No, it is good for you. The glutathione is excellent, but I could do things in my immune system other ways. But I'm even reducing my vitamin C. I haven't taken it the whole time since I had from 1,000 milligrams a day to 500. It's a safer level if you go down. That's a mouthful this morning, isn't it? It certainly is. I was up at 2:30 in the damn morning. Okay, so I haven't rested, and since then I've been up just listening to YouTube or something, occupied, wouldn't let her sleep, and do my thing, whatever. So, it's even got to the point I hardly even watch TV because there's hardly nothing on TV I haven't seen before on Netflix or anything. So, basically, I've just been educating myself, just looking up stuff about whatever's going on with me, doing self-help and self-help type of situations, and learning from my own experience, and henceforth putting that information out on my show. And that's really the only reason I've even been doing shows lately. And I've been on quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, but it's just about every day since I've had this little surgery. I've been on because I've been pretty limited in my mobility as far as going anywhere. And not being near a freaking restroom. And that the only concern with that is that, I have to get that personal, is that you're going to take Dulcolax or something because you want to clean out your bowels. Okay, follow me on this. Don't follow me too closely, though. What you want to do is actually clean out your bowels, and you're going to have to take, because you still got to eat. You're still going to have to eat. Okay, you have to eat. So you're going to build up a lot of bulk. So you're going to have to actually take something for a while, and I wouldn't be on something like that for a long time. You could be too independent on that. And you're losing a lot of water because it makes everything loose. I'm being as graphic as I can here without totally grossing you out. But, facts are just facts, okay? And I'm just letting you have it. Okay. Anyway, you're probably tired of listening to this anyway. I hope in some way I've been helpful to you, one way or the other. And you might want to consider your diet. You might want to consider getting your weight down. I would really, really heavily try to convince you to lose weight. And I know everybody loves pork. They're loving, they're eating like shit. And from my time on YouTube and having experience and seeing the shows of many vloggers, they all had one thing in common. They were all eating the shittiest freaking food you could ever eat, which is going to cause so many problems down the line as you age. Okay? All right, we're going to leave it off at that.